Fans, let's give this another shot. Sorry for the difficulties, but welcome back to 176. I'm flying solo today because since we loaded up on interviews, and we've talked before, Dave has 5 kids. He has a girlfriend he doesn't get to see as often as he would like. So today he wanted to take the chance to be with her. And it's something that as they've gone on as a couple, like just seeing how Dave is going from, not having to be a father figure to 5 kids to now he is, it's something that inspires the rest of us. And we wanted to give him his time to enjoy his relationship for once because the man works so hard. His girlfriend works so hard. Up with our YouTube short, that AJ's wife had surgery and he cannot be here. So it's just going to be me flying solo today. And I've got a big announcement for the end of the show. But if you've been keeping up with the show, we are big fans of independent wrestling and especially Beyond Wrestling's fastest rising stars in Alec Price and Kylon King. So we will be bringing you pieces of those interviews today. But I wanted to talk a little bit on the Vince McMahon documentary that came out this week. It was the big deal from Vice, and there was a lot of excitement about it because I think everybody was expecting the next big revelation. And really, this was just a collection of the stories that have been out there so far up till now. And if you're not aware of the situation at all, it's a nice comprehensive look. If you're aware of wrestling and you're hoping for some deep, dark secrets to come out, it wasn't quite that. Now, we were very excited. You had author Brian R. Solomon, you had author John Arezzi, you had Ross Hart, and then, of course, since I came up with 4 names, I'm blanking on the last one now. And that'll happen when you're live and you don't have anyone else to bounce off of. Now, I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm going to go back and watch it again just to wrestling programming that this was a treat to see come out. It's been rumored for weeks. It finally hit. And it hit at a time when another Vince McMahon story is out there. Now, before I jump into introducing these interviews and kind of talking a little more about what we have coming up for you, not only in the next couple weeks, but also in the new year, I am going to play this intro video real quick. Now, 2022, it's been quite a year of growth for us. We started the year off still as a part of the buzz. We wanted to continue to be on a podcast network. But then the focus slowly started to branch off into what can we do to go out on our own? And that's why over the course of this year, our YouTube has grown. We try and, broadcast regularly for you. If you've been keeping up, Dave's been going wild on those shorts. So if you don't know what's going on with our shorts, if you don't know what's going on with our videos, go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now, I'm going to bring you the first of a couple interviews we had, and this is with the Prize City OG Alec Price. The link for the full interview will be in the description. So let's bring you part of this interview with Alec, who was a guest that I was very excited to land for the show. Podcast. And today we have a big interview for you. He is the former Limitless World Champion. He's the current Southern Underground Pro Bone Storm Champion, the current Empire State Wrestling Interstate Champion. He is the Northeast Beast, the Prize, and you can find him at the Prize City OG on Twitter and Instagram. Today, we are sitting down with Alec Price. Alec, how are you doing today?
Yo, what's good? What's good? I'm good. I'm good. Just chilling. You know what I mean? A little tired. Just came back from Bam, but I'm good. You know what I mean? Every Thursday you have a match. That's every Thursday, every new match, you have an opportunity to learn something and get better. And like you have people there, I'm usually there, or we have freaking like AEW stars come by most of the time. There's a lot of seminars happening every week. Everyone gets an opportunity, like you can sign up to wrestle. So it's Wrestling Open is just special, man. I don't know. Like I love Wrestling Open to death. And like I'm glad that I've been a part of it for as long as I have, and like from the start on. So I'm just happy to be here, bro.
We had Drew on, and he was telling us it's almost like an open mic night, like in comedy. You know, like wrestlers coming in and everything like that.
Yeah. It's like you have to sign up and then get on. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty lit. Like you never really had this idea in wrestling before, so like when it definitely started, there was a lot of people that didn't know how it was gonna go, because like you never seen something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, 60 people to averaging 280 a week. It's not bad for the first year. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
obviously it's something that's going to work. I feel like we can build off of it. So
It's wild. I'm curious. You know, a lot of times we'll have wrestlers on and people too, and we talk about like who's that one person that maybe got you into wrestling. Like for me, it was my mom, and I remember I developed like even a closer relationship with my mom just through watching wrestling because nobody else I didn't have that bond. And then later on you meet friends, and it's like, oh shit, you like this too. It's like a little fraternity, right? Did you have that one person that got you into wrestling, and did you develop some cool relationships because of pro wrestling, like outside of pro wrestling even?
Yeah, like when I was a little kid, my nana got me into pro wrestling. She was like the only other real wrestling fan in my family. Like I remember being like a little like they would plot me, my brothers and my nana, like it's my brothers told me about this, would plot me in front of the TV with her and just watch wrestling while she watched wrestling. And she was the type of wrestling fan where like the whole block heard her. Rip his head off!
Yeah.
Rip his freaking head off! You know what I mean? Like everybody knew my nana was watching wrestling. She loved the Von Erichs. Like she was a big Von Erichs fan. She loved Carrie and Kevin. Like Carrie was her favorite, I think, but Carrie was everyone's favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a handsome dude. You know what I mean? Texas Tornado. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want the Texas Tornado? You know what I mean? But she loved it. After she died, like my brothers kind of like fell off of it. So I kind of like I still loved it, but I didn't really have the interest in it because I started to grow older, and there wasn't really anybody that like had that love of wrestling like I did. Like that's somebody I can walk up and be like, "Yo, bro, did you see last night's Raw? Yo, do you see you see Edge? That was crazy." You know what I mean? Like, no, I never had that. So like I met my boy Eddie when I got a little bit older. Like I met my best friend, my brother, for the past like 13 years, and like he had all the games, he had all the titles, he had everything I didn't have. You know what I mean? Because I was a poor kid, we didn't have any of that. Like, so he had every single thing. I was like, bro. And like I fell back in love with wrestling, and was like, after that, like I did a year backyard because I got so into it. And then I got my boy Eddie. I freaking brought him into my backyard company. I almost broke my neck on a code red that my boy almost gave me. And after that, I was like, I want to get trained because I don't want to be that jamoke that like gets, you know what I mean, hurt. And they're like, "Yo, what happened?" I'm like, "Oh, I was just, you know what I mean, doing swanton bombs in my boy's grandma's backyard." Like, nah, bro, I want to be signed. Like, I know I'm a professional wrestler and I hurt myself. So, I mean, like, it was like my boy Eddie is really like what got me back into wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I never met my best friend, I probably never would be able to be like, all right, I want to do this. You know what I mean? Because like at that point, I was like stuck. Like I was stuck in a brain of like I have to be like a sports athlete. Like I have to be a football star or a baseball star or basketball. I have to figure something out. You know what I mean? And then I found my route because like, bro, getting like when I get in that ring, it's crazy. Like I feel like I'm like, it's the only thing I was put on this earth to do. It's wild. You know what I mean? So like I'm glad that I finally found it and shit. I grew up like that because I grew up in a 2.5 bedroom apartment with 7 people. So like having a million and one things going on at times, it's like that's my environment. So like I was able to succeed because of like the Bell Time Club and everything. So yeah, that's where I started, bro.
That's awesome. Now, what's some of the best advice you've gotten along the way? Because you, like you said earlier, you're not afraid to hear people's suggestions, advice. Who, like, what are some of the better advice you've gotten?
I remember when I was like from the Bell Time Club. We have an OG masshole Mike McCarthy. Like I know Matt, I'm no Masshole because of wrestling, but like he's an OG. Like this man's like an OG from the punk era. OG, like him, you know what I mean? Like him and his people. Like my cousin went down there, but it wasn't with his people. He was just doing it separately. But like we're fighting the Nazis back in the day to get rid of them out of the punk scene. You know what I mean? Like in
Yeah.
Boston. He like G checked me one day when I was like a kid, like when I was a trainee, because I was like really cocky. You know what I mean? Like I mean I couldn't help it. That's how you had to be, but like I was extremely cocky, and one day he went, dude. He was like, I freaking hate you. He was like, you're so good, but you're such a piece of shit. And started rationing me out in front of everybody and like put me on like blast. And I just went like, I'm sorry, OG. You know what I mean? And I couldn't do anything else. There was nothing I could do at that point because it was just like one of those moments where you're just like, your mom rips into you and your friends are right there like, God damn, Mom, why'd you do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think like, him being like that is just like, bro, you're so good. Like, why are you such a piece of shit? You know what I mean? And like that always stuck with me. Like, I gotta be humble because like I realize when I get too cocky or too into it, like I feel like I don't know, I just start slipping. You know what I mean? It's like every Boston team in like sports. You know what I mean? Like we do get the first 2 quarters and 3-4 we get lazy and then we lost the game. You know what I mean? Like so I kind of just gotta stay humble and like stay on my craft. I think that's probably the best advice I've ever gotten because I probably would still be like a piece of crap right now. You know what I mean? Like so yeah, like definitely thank you, Masshole, for that.
That's awesome.
Now, you've worked a lot of places. Are there any promotions or any tournaments that you would like to work at that you haven't yet appeared in?
Yeah, there's like a couple that I want to like kind of get. I mean, right now it's kind of cool because like I'm starting to like make my way through the U.S. Like I just got like West Coast booking. I'm going to L.A. next week. In a couple weeks, and 1/6, I'm going back to San Fran for West Coast Pro. So like right now, my focus on doing more like European stuff. Like I'm a big fan of European wrestling. I've always, for some reason, like that style of wrestling and the way they set up matches. So like that's my next big thing is I want to go out there. Like I want to go to like I don't know, freaking anything, bro. Any like Progress, anything. WXW. I want to go to Portugal to wrestle. I want to just kind of start like adding my, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm doing a lot here, and I'm doing a lot in like in US, and it's great. But I also got to realize like I want to go other places. So like, and the only way I can really get better as a wrestler is by going out there and facing people that are better than me, or like going out there and facing different styles. Like I remember my trainer said that to me and I didn't really get it until I was on the road, but it's true. Like after a while, he can't teach me anything. I have to go on the road to learn different styles and different ways, and because everyone's got their own flavors of ice cream, and maybe in that aspect, my flavor of ice cream isn't the right flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think that's crazy.
I got one more question, Joe. I know you're gonna wrap this up, but I'm kind of curious. So the way to improve for you, obviously it seems like you're doing as many bookings as you can, and like you said, you're trying to get booked into different territories, maybe different matches, different companies, so you can learn different things, and that's going to just make you better. Is there anything else you do besides that? Like, do you look at like old matches? Is there anything else you do to like try to improve?
That's helped me improve a lot, because I feel like I'm just sitting there and like I'm a stickler for, like, I want the little things to look good. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now, because I've like progressed as a wrestler, I've started worrying about more story and like moments than I did moves, because moves is just it's just filler. You know what I mean? It's get more out of less. So like now I'm like, all right, like what could I have done in this moment and got like better? So like I always am watching my matches, or I'm always going up and looking up new, like I always watch like a crap ton of Lucha Underground. Like anytime I'm getting into something or I wanted to start doing something, I kind of start leaning towards that style, and I like study everything about that style, because like my stuff is like, I have a very unique style in wrestling, but my style is legit like me doing moves and just figuring out ways that I do it uniquely that no one else can do. You know what I mean? So like it's a lot. It's a lot sometimes. I have to like I like a day I like have like an hour of wrestling I need to watch. I don't watch any of my stuff. I just, an hour of wrestling I need to watch. I'll watch like a crap ton. It doesn't matter if it's World of Sport all the way to like I'll watch Pancrase sometimes. Wow. You know what I mean? Like yeah. It's just like whatever's on the wheel. Like and I think that's it. Like I'm such a perfectionist, and like this is the one thing that I actually care about, or I felt like I've actually had the opportunity. Like my brother was the football star. You know what I mean? My other brother was the mechanic. My other brother's an electrician. My sister's going to college. There's so many other things that like I just couldn't find. You know what I mean? And like now I have it. I'm like, wow, bro, I can go all in on this. And like, and there's so many ways to just upgrade yourself in wrestling. You don't even realize it. Like you're first starting out, you're worried about putting a match together. But the minute you get a match together, you're like, oh crap, okay, how can I put character right here? You know what I mean? Or man, damn, dude, that spot sucked, bro. Why did I even think about that? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot. I mean, I just like, even my promos, I watch my promos over and over and over again because I like little facials and details, and I want to see what I did that I didn't like plan to do, because most of the time now I don't plan to do stuff because that's how you just get natural reactions. So I want to see, all right, let me see that natural reaction, so maybe I can plan it for the future. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's it. It's just been the hustle, the grind, and like me just trying to get every aspect of my wrestling down, because like it's hard. Where people can find me, it's easy. The Prize City OG, Twitter and Instagram is the same handle. Also, I think you can get me on Facebook at the Prize Alec Price. Also, I got my Facebook page. I may or may not accept you for my account, but you can go on my page. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm quick. I'm easy. I'm a good looker. I got a face only a mother can love, but I'm telling you right now, I'm the best wrestler you'll see, the best wrestler you'll ever see, the best OG. So come through, come see me. Also Pro Wrestling Tees. I forgot I got a Pro Wrestling Tee store. Go to my Pro Wrestling Tee store, buy some merch. You know what I mean? Like, there you go.
That was a great interview from earlier this week, and we've really been, hustling to get more and more interviews. If you tuned in last week, you saw we had on Ting and Andrew Thompson from Post Wrestling, and one of the very few interviews I got nervous for, but it was one of those ones that we were proud to bring you. And we've got more interviews on the way. We're in talks with Karma Dean. She is a wrestler out of Florida that we hope to have on. We have talked to Braden Harrington and Davey Portman of Poison Rana. We're going to have them on early next year. Nate Milton, we're also talking to about having on early next year. Who are we going to be talking to next week? You're going to have to wait just a little bit longer to find out.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harrison, Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories, including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.
And it's tough. We found one thing with the podcast. We try and bring you a show every week. And I like to plan in advance my shows. And what you're seeing today is that very reason. We had a false start because I knew roughly I wanted to talk about the Vince McMahon documentary. I wanted to bring you clips of Alec Price and the interview I have coming up with for you, Kylon King. But I had a lot of running around to do this morning. It's the holiday season. Trying to get chores done on a weekend is not easy. Another person we plan on having on soon is Naomi from the Cult in Connecticut podcast. If you have not listened to this podcast, go search it out. It is about a cult from my hometown here in Jewett City. And what Naomi has done with this podcast is very interesting. They have another episode coming up on December 23rd, and we're hoping to get her on to promote it before then. We have had so many interviews this year that we are super proud of. Like, for me, it's getting on the authors, getting on the Brian R. Solomon, getting on John Arezzi, getting on Vinnie Berry to talk about and promote their books. Kevin Kelton as well. If you're looking for any last minute Christmas ideas, I can't recommend these books enough. You hear me usually do the read at the top, and that's another thing. We're experimenting with format, but if you want any good gift ideas for Christmas, get Super Vows or Pas de Deux by Kevin Kelton. They're available on Amazon, as well as All That's Left and Ward's first book, which are great. He also has a stand-up special on Amazon. Brian R. Solomon brought you Blood and Fire, the unbelievable real-life story of wrestling's original Sheik. Pat Oates brought you How Not to Suck at Comedy. John Arezzi and Greg Oliver wrote Matt Memories. Vance Nevada's book, Uncontrolled Chaos, Canada's Remarkable Professional Wrestling Legacy, is out there. If you're an artist in or near Connecticut and you're looking for studio time, check out the great people over at Connecticut People Records. And if you're YouTube and you're looking for entertainment other than the Working Fans podcast, check out our wrestling commentary home of New Heights Wrestling. And I thought this was going to go smoother today. I thought I would have more to say. This is clearly not making it to the audio version. This is just for anybody that's checking us out on YouTube. This is not indicative of a show we usually do. But we have an announcement so big that I wanted to come on the air today and bring it to you anyways. Before we get to that announcement, let me play part of this interview with Kylon King we did this week. Kylon King is Dustin Waller's tag team partner in the Miracle Generation. We were lucky enough to sponsor them. God, it's got to be about a month ago now at Wrestling Open. And to get to talk to these kids, the same with Alec, getting to talk to people so early in the process that still have that hunger in them is great to see. Now, we'll bring you this interview with Kylon. I will bring you our big announcement, which is going to be about a recording we're doing on December 20th. The audio will not come out till the mid the following week. So you'll get your best of 2022. I believe that comes out on the 21st. So that would mean the 28th would be the segment that I'm going to announce at the end of the show. And I'm going to be slapping together plenty of best ofs of the year, best of interviews, episodes, Combat Cast. Thank you again for joining us. And I'm sorry that holiday season is throw together shows, but rather than just give you clip shows, I wanted to come in and let you know what we were doing and let you know that we wanted to give the guys some time off because we go every week of the year and we really do fit this between full-time jobs, families. It's not always easy. And today is obviously the least prepared we've been for a show. So I apologize for the lack of preparation, but I hope the heart shows through. Now let's play this interview with Kylon King, and then I will get to the big announcement. Big interview. Today, we have a member of the Miracle Generation. He trained under Paul Roma and Mario Mancini. You see him almost every week at Wrestling Open, and recently, he, along with his teammates Dustin and Ichiban, took on former guest of the show, the SAT. Everybody, welcome Kylon King. Kylon, how are you doing today?
What's up, Joe? How you feeling? I'm doing good. I'm living. It's a beautiful day out here, even though it's a little nippy. But we move on. We roll with the punches. You feel me?
Yeah, like the snow was an interesting surprise the other day, but I guess it kind of gets you into that holiday season.
It sure do. I didn't even think we were gonna get snow for this year, based off how it was looking. But first snowfall of the year was kind of crazy to see.
Definitely. Now, before I play the intro video today, I have to ask you about that match with the SAT because you guys main evented that Expect the Unexpected show. It was, if you haven't watched it, you have to go on IWTV. You have to watch the fathers of this style versus you guys who that felt like a passing the torch match. How awesome was it to be in the ring with them?
Yeah, first off, like you said, main event our first ever show at Expect the Unexpected. That was something in itself that they even trusted that they even throw us out there, and then to put us in the ring with SATs was just insane. The father of the style. It was really it was just really surreal because I grew up watching a lot of their stuff back in TNA days when TNA was early on. It was just crazy just to. Even right now, I'm getting giddity about it. I'm just smiling and stuff. Just to even think about it, got to work such a legendary tag team and like you said, just innovated the style, fathered the style. And I was just so happy with it. And then when they gave that speech at the end of the show, like you said, it felt like a passing of the torch moment. So we're gonna keep riding, we're gonna keep working hard, we're gonna keep making everybody proud, and then hopefully we can live up to the torch that they passed down to us after that. So yeah,
they were one of those dream interviews that we wanted to get earlier this year, and then when we got them on, it was just even talking to them before we started recording, they made you feel like they were friends of yours, and then as they get going, how dedicated they are to wrestling. And they have such a unique viewpoint that I'm dying to have them on the show again because we talked to them at the beginning of this kind of whole comeback tour.
Mm-hmm.
And since we talked to them, they've had so many matches and especially against you guys, because I've been watching you a lot on Wrestling Open.
Mm-hmm.
So to see you guys getting big there and then to see you guys taking on the SAT, I couldn't believe it. Now, I'm gonna play
it was definitely I'm sorry to cut you off. It was definitely really working an older version of ourselves. It's just the way we just it's still insane just to think about. Yeah, I can't even get over it.
Almost like a Ghost of Christmas Future type
absolutely,
thing.
Absolutely. We named the group. And eventually, Jay, he came up with the name Miracle Generation based off of anime. Yeah, that's how the name came up to be, Miracle Generation of Miracles from the past. So yeah, that's how we all came to be.
All right, that was definitely the question I was gonna ask because you weren't gonna get into the anime on that, and I'm like, there's the question that's in there. But it's got to be good to come up with a group of guys too, because as you're all learning in the business, it's less like doing it on your own. You have these other guys to bounce ideas off of and to talk about, the come up with, so you don't feel so alone. That's got to help you get farther along, I imagine, also.
Nah, absolutely. Like, yeah, without these dudes, like, even like just without these guys, just growing up in the business, it would be tough. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm so grateful and like so glad that I got the experience. Like, and even still now, like, I don't think I have ever traveled to a show like or a show that they haven't been on, and it's just crazy to even think about like that tight bond that we all have, even though we may fight, we may argue, we may not like each other all the time, but I love these people, and I would like do anything in my power that I'm able to do for them, like absolutely, it's crazy, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the same social anxiety as me, but like I hate showing up to places alone. So it's got to help too to always have like, your family rolling with you to, you show up as a group. It just helps with self-esteem and getting yourself out there too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like you said, like social anxiety is a real thing, Even like before I even got to wrestling, it was just like anytime I would go to a new place, it was just like I would feel so awkward, so weird. But like I have less of that problem now because I'm with those guys, so I'm able to be more myself. Like on the first time meeting people. So yeah, it's just a real thing.
Now, we talked about kind of your inner circle, but who are some people outside of your inner circle, like in the business, that have helped you out along the way, outside of like your trainers and things like that?
Okay.
Are there any guys you've worked with that you've picked something up from?
Anthony Green, he helped me in Flash a lot, especially like he was like one of the people that helped us like not one of he was the person that helped us out get to like Black Label Pro, helped us out with that. So shout out to Anthony Green. Even like now he still gives us advice. Like the other day he just texted me something about like a certain move that we did, and he was like, hey, maybe you should do this right there. And I was like, all right, cool, like that's a good idea. Let me make sure I write that down and remember that. But like AG, like Drew Cordero, from Beyond Wrestling, he helped us out a lot with our growth, especially like there were all the weeks of like Wrestling Open and like beyond that we was there. He helped us out a lot. I'm trying to think. I'm just having such a brain fart because it's really a lot of people that really like to me that helped us out. Like I try to take something from everybody, positive or negative. I try to like take something and really apply to myself. Like even like somebody like just like some random person on the street, if they have said something, I'll take what I can from it and try to apply it to myself. So. But yeah, those two, Drew and AG, they helped us out a lot. I'm really trying to think. Oh, Wagner Brown. What is Slick Wagner Brown? Without Slick Wagner Brown, me and Flash would not be a team right now. And that's real stuff. So shout out to Slick. He helps us out still to this day. Give us advice and stuff like that. So Slick Wagner Brown. Without him,
He's out
me
of
and
Tested
Flash.
Strength Wrestling,
Yes,
right?
yes. He's the head trainer of Tested Strength. So. Shout
Now,
out
you
to
kind
Wagner
of already
Brown.
got into it, but tell us about Wrestling Open and why it's been so important to your development.
So Wrestling Open is so one day I don't even know if I should be telling this story. I might get in trouble for telling this story. But one day Drew came up to me, Flash, and he probably went up to other couple guys too. But he was like saying like, "Yeah, I see I come here like every week," because this was like during Uncharted Territory season 3. He's like, "Yeah, I see you guys coming up here like every week, busting your ass, working hard, and I'm not able to really do much for you guys, but y'all do so much for me. So I had an idea because we had some tryout matches before. He liked what what he saw from me and Flash and a couple other people. But he was like, yeah, I was like, I have an idea to like showcase like guys like yourselves and really like implement them with some of the people from the Beyond roster. And he was like, yeah, so what do you think about if I had like a show like maybe like every Thursday, run it like every Thursday, and then just try to highlight people like yourselves? And he was like, oh, I was like, yeah, we would love that. Like that would be cool as hell. Like to even do like, because me and Flash like was missing that from XWA because XWA has stopped running on Thursdays or whatever. So yeah, it was like, yeah, we would love that. Get our reps in and then be able to work with different crop of guys, people that's gonna help us elevate our game and grow to get better. So he's like, yeah, we love that. So then one day he made the big announcement. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna start this thing called Wrestling Open, and I'm gonna obviously if you want to work, you got to sign up for it. Got to sign in, and basically everybody gets get a cut off the door, so everybody gets equal pay. We was like, okay, cool. So we started from episode 0, even episode 0, like because Blitzkrieg was supposed to run during the festival, but it was high during COVID time, so like everybody like didn't want to come, and everybody got sick and stuff like that. So they had canceled their show due to those circumstances and stuff like that. And then the soft open, the Wrestling Open happened that night, and we got to wrestle Ricky, Shane Page, and Vincent Nutten in the main event that night. And then on the official Open, the Wrestling Open, we guys started this whole rivalry with main event, So and then from there on, we just kept growing and growing and growing, week after week after week after week, and just kept elevating ourselves and elevating the game. Coming to this point where we are right now, where we are the Limited Cup Tag Team Champions.
And it's been great to see, coming full circle for the year, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, what Beyond did with Uncharted Territory was amazing. And then I think they've just taken it up another notch with Wrestling Open, because like for real wrestling nerds out there, where you're looking to see who the next big talents are coming up, Wrestling Open is that spot. You're getting to see them go against, established stars that come in from AEW, and you get to see just a great mix of matches. Now, before I go asking you about what your plans are for next year, you are an anime fan, and I got to ask a question because I don't watch anime. Everybody at work is telling me I got to get into it. What is an anime that you would recommend for somebody that's never watched it to get into it? I mean, I've watched movies here and there, like Spirited Away, but I've never been like deep into it. So give me a recommendation to start me out on.
See, it's kind of hard because it depends on what you like. Like you specifically, what do you like? Like what type of things do you like?
I like pro wrestling. I like comedy. In my movies, I tend to like, maybe a little deeper of a story. But yeah, I'll tend to like comedy.
Okay, so let me think. For you specifically, since you like wrestling and comedy, a good anime, it's a boxing anime. It's not really wrestling, it's a boxing anime. It's called Hajime no Ippo. But it's about a story about a kid named Ippo and his growth through like his journey on becoming a better, I don't want to say better person because he's already a good person, but like his journey on growing as a person, and how boxing helps him grow as a person. Because he starts off timid, but slowly over the course of the story, he gains more confidence until he's, the champion. So yeah, that's a good one to watch. For just like casuals, Dang, it's kind of hard out because I'm trying to think of an anime that's not too long to watch. You know, because like most of the animes I watch are like they have a whole bunch of episodes to them. So I'm just trying to think that's something that's not long. One day it'll be easy watch. I'm about to look at my list right now. You about to have me look at my list right now. So,
Well, definitely text me some then,
all
because
right, I got you.
not to put you on the spot, but definitely like it's I like getting recommendations from somebody that's into it, because then they can give you like, this is what I like, or here's something you may like. But
Yeah,
let's end it.
I try not to base off stuff like that I like and show people. I need to really know what they like so they can have like a good a smooth selling into the world of anime.
Nice. You want to give them a recommendation that's going to keep them coming back to anime. Not
Yeah,
like, oh man, what you got me watching this like 3-hour long movie about?
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, anime
Now,
is like cool. It's like it's been like a strong point in my life. You know, it helped me like with wrestling. Like anime have also been one of those things that just helped me like with everything in my life. Just so yeah.
nice. Now we come full circle talking about Wrestling Open. Let's end on a big note. What are your goals for 2023? What promotions would you like to wrestle for? What tournaments would you like to end up in? And then plug whatever you'd like.
Well, this is not really a 2023 goal because the goal is gonna hopefully I accomplish this goal before the year is over, and that's to become the first ever IWTV tag team champions with my partner in crime, my little brother Flash. So that's one goal. Another goal is maybe hopefully, just throwing this out there, me and Flash can be a tag team in GCW. He's already doing the GCW stuff right now, but hopefully I can make my way over there with him and do that. I wanna go on down south, so maybe Action or Sup. What's up with that? West Coast, trying to get in West Coast Pro Prestige. Maybe go down to Texas. I'm trying to go in the Midwest. I'm just trying to. Oh, and definitely, I'm trying to make Canada a thing. I'm trying to make Canada a thing for sure. C4, trying to ICW, ISW, Interspecies Wrestling. Trying to go to the heart of Canada and wrestle there. So I'm just trying to build up my portfolio. Add these pages in my passport. They looking empty, so I'm trying to fill those up. Whether it's Canada,
Anthony
Mexico, UK, wherever. I'm trying to go. I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to be a global, next year.
Yeah, maybe Anthony Green could hook it up with Pro Wrestling Noah.
Oh, that would be sick, bro. That's like my biggest goal. Like one of my biggest goals is to wrestle in Japan. So that would be sick. I already wrestled like a Japanese wrestler named Shin Skywalker. That shit was sick. Excuse my language. That was sick because it's like it was so unexpected, and I was not expecting to wrestle him. And I got the chance to wrestle him. It's like him and Myron Reed in the same match. It was just crazy. I was like, yo, what is life right now, yo? What is life right now?
I know, it's great to see those matchups. Well, we're excited to see you at Wrestle. Tell the people where they can find you on social media. And
Okay.
your boys are winning the tag team championships at the end of the year. I'm calling it now. It's gotta happen.
We gonna make it happen, Joe. You can follow me on Twitter at Little Kylon, LittleKylon. You can find me on Instagram at KingKai0610. That's KINGKAI 0610. And trying to think, do I have anything else? You got
a Pro Wrestling Tees store? I see you got that nice
Pro
Miracle
Wrestling
Generation
Tees,
shirt out there.
Kylon King right there. If you want some Miracle Generation merch, we usually sell those stuff at in person. So come see us at these shows near you. and we'll buy a shirt, buy some merch. You know, I got bills to pay. You know, I got to eat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So do that.
Well, hey, get out there and support your boys. And thank you
Yes,
guys
sir.
for tuning in. We'll see you again next time.
Thanks for having me. Peace.
Well, those were two big interviews that we did this week. And I was just happy to get to talk to those guys. You can hear the excitement in their voice. You can catch them most Thursdays on Wrestling Open, or just get IWTV. Check out, well, if you get IWTV, sign up and use the code BTS Pod, and that will give a kickback to the Between the Sheets podcast for every month that you're subscribed. I use that because Between the Sheets is a great podcast, and the fact that they have a code that could get them anything, but getting to IWTV, tons of independent wrestling on there, and you will be able to see the two wrestlers we featured today on there. Now, getting back to the big announcement, we said December 21st, the audio coming out. It's going to be Wei Ting, Andrew Thompson, 531 Best of the Year. We're going to have the Alec Price interview on there. We're going to have the Kylon King interview on there. Episode 177 coming out December 28th, the worst of the year. We landed yet another guest from the post-wrestling landscape, W.H. Park. And if you've heard this man give his opinions on wrestling, you know how entertaining an episode this is going to be, how excited Dave and I are going to be to bring this to you. So we're going to be recording with WH on December 20th. That's going to be a 10 p.m. record time. So we will understand if you're not awake for that. But the audio for that will play on December 28th. So we're closing out the year big. And we just want to thank everybody for being a fan. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch us, for clicking the link, sharing the link. Click like on this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we're just going to be doing more of it for you in 2023. We have a wish list of guests, like I already said. Nate Milton, Braden Harrington, and Davey Portman from the Poison Rana podcast. And here's just a list, and we've got Pat Oates coming up too. I don't want to skip over that. Here's a list of people. I'm putting it out there that I hope we get on the podcast this coming year. GCW promoter Brett Lauderdale. Been a fan of his product for so long. I would like to get him for an interview on the show this year. Comedian Lamont Price. I've thought this guy is hilarious, seen him multiple times. I would like to get the comedy cast going, get an interview with him. Promoter Alex Red from Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling, ARW. We had something set up. The time fell through. We're working out a time to get him back on. I'm very excited about that because if you look at this guy's Facebook, you know the hustle he puts in, not only to his work, but also to his wrestling promotion. Their next event coming up in February, they got Gerald Briscoe to appear. That is a Gerald Briscoe, another guy I'd like to have on the podcast. Wrestler David Mercury, and also wrestlers Miranda Gordy and Bobby Orlando. There's going to be more names added to this list. That's just where the wish list is right now. Now, for people I'd like to get to return on the show in the coming year, I'd love to have the SAT back on. We were so excited to get to interview them, and they were so fun and just so welcoming that we talked to them at the beginning of this comeback journey. I want to see where they are now that they're deep into this. I'd love to have Kylon King and Alec Price on. Go check out the full interviews. And they were just fun. It was great to see a wrestler so young in it, actually and getting to hear the excitement. I'd love to have Drew back from Beyond Wrestling. We have an idea we want to pitch for him to do a regular Beyond podcast, kind of recapping Wrestling Open from that week, and then talking about what's coming up for promotions, what's coming up for shows, different things they're doing, maybe even interview wrestlers, but mostly just to talk about them and get word out there more because we don't get to go to many Beyond shows. We work. Thursdays Wrestling Open, and a lot of their events are on Sundays, and those are days we just can't make it to. So if we can do anything to help another promotion, we will. I'd love to have George South back on. Talking to him, he's another guy just so welcoming. The Von Erichs, obviously, we'd love to have back, especially with that Iron Claw movie coming out. And the guys that I got from the Arcadian Vanguard Network this year, Brian R. Solomon, Howard Baum, and Vandal Drummond, just interviews that are just great in their own different way. Vandal is hilarious and just so out there and put us on to Titanes NL Ring that, something different, something fun to watch. Howard Baum, just a great guest, so knowledgeable. I feel like we didn't even crack the surface with what we could have talked about with him. And Brian R. Solomon, when he put out that Chic book, we wanted to be there to help him. And it was right before he got the Wrestling News podcast kicked off. So that's been another exciting thing. I actually got to meet him at AEW at Mohegan Sun. So that's kind of, summing up the year, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you very much for tuning in. Next week, we might have a live show for you, or we might just start playing the clips. We'll talk about it this week. Keep an eye on our YouTube shorts, and we'll probably give you the news there. So thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you again next year.